Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the Follow Your Passion podcast. Let me introduce my guest of today. His name is Irwin Hau, a familiar name, almost the same as mine. Irwin is the founder of design agency Chromatix and Neon Bright, two Australian agencies focused on web conversion, one on web design and the other in copywriting. He also runs Irwin Hau Business Consultancy and a MarTech Founder starting ConversionCow, a dedicated conversion software as a service tool that helps businesses fast forward the sales process and see better results with leads and conversions. He's a massive fan of using analogies and the light-hearted pun. He loves all things to do with human behavior and psychology and chatting about how the mind works in the area of persuasion and influence. So we're bound to have a very interesting call. Welcome, Irwin. How are you doing?
Beautiful. Thank you, Irwin. It's strange to say my own name during a podcast. So.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Irwin.
yeah, we had a conversation earlier. So take us through the process, how you got interested in the human behavior and the mind of people.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, there's a lot of different angles and stuff. You can take the angle of what I studied back in the day. I'm actually a bit older than I wish to be and stuff like that, but I actually did my master's in advertising. So we could take that angle. We could take the angle of me being a hobbyist in magic for the last 20 plus years and stuff. And let's be honest, magic and marketing, even psychology, they all kind of blend together. Or we could talk about the ad agencies I used to work for that actually took a lot of psychology principles and applied them to multi-million-dollar businesses, to even my own stuff. So there's a few angles there.
I love the magic part. So take me through that.
There. Yeah, no, for sure. I remember there was this one time this guy said, "Hey, everyone, turn around," and he showed me this trick, and I just realized, wow, that if you with magic, you can actually control someone's attention. And I guess at the end of the day, if we could control someone's attention, say online, how amazing would that be? And attention is an amazing currency we now trade in. I'm sorry to sound like Gary Vee, and I know that he says that a lot as well. But again, if we can use psychology techniques, principles, and tips, we can actually make anyone do anything. And so, yeah, so we actually created our own framework, Irwin, for our agency called Chromatix, what we call our 5 C's conversion framework. That helps to get someone's attention and captures their attention, then takes them through that process all the way to action. And let's be honest, that's the main reason why you want that attention, is you want them to take action at the end of the day. So yeah. Lots of fun.
So how you shared with me that you got interested by magic trick that somebody showed you, and what made you decide to dive into the magic of things?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, anyone can just be another web designer. You can just be another creative and stuff. And I think it was actually not just because we also want to find a unique selling proposition and angle, but we actually found that by applying human psychology techniques to design, we could actually help people move that bottom line at the end of the day, because people would come to us looking for websites. And I realized people didn't actually really, as much as they cared for awards and pretty designs and great design, but really what they wanted their phone to ring at the end of the day. They wanted someone to fill in a form. And so, so that's how it all kind of blended together, and that's how we got started. So yeah, lots of fun.
Nice. And what did you study yourself? Because if you're going to do business, there's a lot of trial and error, right? You never know what works and what doesn't. So there's only one way to find out. But what you said, in marketing with websites and stuff like that, if there's no goal behind a website, it's just a very expensive business card, right? So at the end, people want results with the business, with the website, being conversions, phone calls, appointments in their calendars. So that means that as a web designer or copywriter, you need to know what moves people, right? Is that the same? What you what? Of course, it's almost similar, and it's funny that you brought it up. That being a magician, you also want to keep people's attention and know where to direct their attention, right? Are there a lot of similarities between magic tricks and making a converting website?
Yeah, no, for sure. Actually, magic and marketing actually no difference. What, you know, again, it is about attention and direction, and in magic we call it misdirection. Or for you, you might think it's misdirection. It's actually the right direction for me as the magician. For you, it
Yeah.
might not be the right direction, but it's actually the perfect direction. And if I can actually make you look at something with a big action up here, whilst I'm actually doing something small down here, on the other side and stuff like that, and in design, it's actually the same. It's actually what we call visual hierarchy. It's just knowing how to control this attention. So you look at the right thing at the right time based on what I present, show in web design. It could be a graphic, it could be a video, it could be a font size, it could be a color. But at the end of the day, it's here to draw your eye to something else. And if we can control to, and then in magic, I want you to control your attention so that something disappears or appears. That's one thing. But in web design, I want to pull you down into that phone number at the very bottom corner, say, for example, or that click a demo or find a demo kind of button as well. And so, yeah, so it's using all these techniques of colors, text, layouts, all together to make it all work together and stuff like that. So yeah, so there's meaning to the madness. And even as you're looking at me right now, as I've been talking to you, I don't know if you've been realized or have you realized that I've actually been holding this pen all this time as a little example and stuff. And where has it been and stuff? Well, it's actually always been in plain sight, but just at a different angle that you can't tell. And so for me, it's just knowing how to control that attention so that I can guide you to the right areas. And then when you expect something, it might disappear. It really depends. So yeah, lots of fun that we can have as well. But we do the same on websites, maybe not with pens, but definitely words and copy and layout. So yeah.
Nice.
Just a thought to throw that one in there.
Yeah. So how did you realize that this skill of magic tricks was useful in marketing? When did you make that connection for yourself?
It was actually one magic trick I was actually performing at one time. Actually, I was doing it to a close friend of mine. I was putting some cards down and stuff, and I actually realized that I could actually control when he would actually pick a card, though he felt like he had free choice. And then as I studied more about design, I realized there's actually a lot of visual cues, visual hierarchy techniques, and actually what we call pattern interrupt techniques that I can actually make someone stop in a certain part, to make someone look, read more, that sort of thing. And so it was actually just through the practical doing tricks themselves, which then led me to this, oh, wait a minute, there's actually no difference between the two. Marketing, magic, websites, copywriting, they all, and even looking at headlines. Think about headlines. They are here to get your attention, maybe on newspaper, maybe an online piece of media, maybe an email subject line. It's actually exactly the same. And so it's try to do as little as possible to get the biggest attention. So
yeah,
lots of fun.
I think that's also the biggest challenge of a lot of people, right? With minimum effort, making the biggest impact.
Yeah. Well, actually, in magic, I actually met one of my childhood kind of magician, kind of what do you call it? I was a bit of a fanboy to this particular magician, and I was actually showing this magician a particular move, and he said to me, I'll never forget. He said, "Irwin, that looks great as a trick, but it's too flashy." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, Irwin, the most beautiful, most elegant tricks are those that you hardly even move and bang, it just happens." And you're like, and that made a lot of sense. Because here we are, we think we have to be all really showy and really big. Actually, less is more. It's exactly the same nowadays when you actually look at, say, content writing. Look at these emails. Have you actually studied cold emails? I've actually been collecting cold emails recently. And guess what I've found? It's not the ones that, hi, my name is Irwin, and I do this and that, and here's my proof, and da-da-da. No, actually, the best ones are the shortest, sharpest ones. Nice and clear, to the point. Hey, this is what I do. Do you need a hand? That's it. And so going back to basics, Irwin, is what I've been saying to my designers, to my writers, even to our clients. Just go back to the basics. Keep it nice and simple. And if anyone's taught us this, it's actually Steve Jobs, in the way he designed all those Apple products back in the day. It's less is more. If it's not there with a purpose, and here's the key word you're looking for: intentional. Let's be intentional with every single part we put in. If not, it's excess. Get rid of it. Let's just stay with the best bits. So that's it. So,
Yeah. Nice. So can you still go back to the first memory you have of where you had a huge success with a magic trick that you thought, wow, this is powerful. I could do so much more with this?
yeah, I remember where I was when I was actually doing that trick and stuff. And I think where I guess where I was headed when I started putting some ideas down is I started looking into then techniques in design, looking at books. And there's a guy by the name of Dr. Robert Cialdini, is who I studied and
Oh, yeah.
stumbled across it. And we've all heard of him and stuff. He wrote the book Influence, Persuasion, all those kind of techniques and stuff. And I was able just to turn, I guess, something that was entertaining into something that could actually, be engaging on the online space as well. And then just padded out from there, looked up other techniques. And like I said, we formed our own patent interrupt techniques. And I even tried my own versions as well, which has now led us to ConversionCow, which is actually that SaaS company we've now just started as well. So,
Yeah. So, talking about entrepreneurship, right? Because you can be very good at what you're doing, right? With persuasion and stuff like that. But that doesn't make you necessarily a great entrepreneur. Agree?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. There's too many hats to wear as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. How was it for you to become an entrepreneur and build your own business?
Yeah, for sure. That one I can definitely remember. And you're absolutely right. Not everyone is cut out to be a business owner or an entrepreneur. There are so many hats you have to wear. I think we all start as a specialist in a particular area, but we don't realize the moment you start a business, you kind of become everyone. You're as much as the accountant as you are the cleaner, to the HR manager, to the operations, everything. You need to understand everything from the legals to the numbers, the whole lot and stuff like that. And so mine started actually at what I thought was a sad moment where I actually got made redundant from working at an ad agency. And it was pretty tough because actually it was at the end of the GFC or around that GFC time, sorry. So it was pretty tough. So I thought, you know what, I could keep looking for a job and work for the man, but I thought I'd be the man instead. And so I thought I'd give it a crack. And it really is about sucking it up and taking on a bit of everything. And you want to know enough. You don't need to be the master of all of it, but you now need to try everything and give it a go and stuff. But that was the start. And here we are now after how many years? I think 2009 till 2023. It's been a while. So I've done my time. So
could you imagine yourself ever going back into a corporate world?
I get asked that all the time, Irwin, stuff like that, and I don't think I could work for someone as much as I think I could. I think I could, to be honest, and stuff, but I think I just prefer to work for myself now because I have so much fun just meeting new people, sharing that advice and stuff. And I think my wings would be kind of feel a bit crammed and stuff if I did work for someone. I don't know. We'll see. So
it's the same here, right? I could do it. Do I want? No.
No, that's that's a really good way of putting it. I like it.
Yeah.
So,
so where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
yeah, for sure. Oh, that's a great question. I kind of ask myself all the time, but I think I've come to realize now that I'm in my 40s and stuff like that, the ideal business model that I want and stuff. And honestly, the ultimate lifestyle as well, because being an entrepreneur, there's that business side, but there's also that life side. And I think COVID has taught us that we need to balance, your personal life and your business life, and kind of just work out where you want to be. From a business perspective, obviously, because I've got Chromatix and that's running and doing fantastic. And we've got ConversionCow as well as a SaaS business. In 5 years' time, I really look forward to seeing that SaaS company get some good MRR and also ARR, some revenue that's recurring happening, especially because the heart of that business was to help people, in particular, small business, during those tough times. It may be a recession that, everyone could be, heading into and sort of thing, to just, having some low cost, high value product. In 5 years' time, look forward to building that product and seeing where that goes. And personally, I look forward to just helping people continue doing that. I do a lot of mentoring, I do a lot of coaching and stuff like that as well. So I look forward to, just meeting new and wonderful people. And let's be honest, I don't know what I don't know. So let's see what mysteries and surprises 5 years brings as well. So, but it's good times.
It's I always say it's great to have a vision, and you have to have some sort of goal you want to achieve. But if you would have asked me like 5 years ago if I would be where I'm right now, I could have never imagined, right?
Yep.
And it's all about being flexible. It's being adaptable to the situation, to the circumstances, and make the best out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And funny enough, 5 years ago, we wouldn't even have COVID.
Exactly.
If you think about it. So we wouldn't have had lockdowns. We wouldn't have, we had curfews down here in Melbourne actually as well because of that. But I always talk about this idea of being focused but flexible. You want to be so focused with that one, where are we heading? Have a goal, have a vision. So I have some financial goals where I want the business to be. I have some goals of where I like the team to be. But at the end of the day, things change and you have to adapt and move accordingly. And sometimes you do have to pivot. You do have to change into something else. And sometimes it can be for the better, like that redundancy I talked about. If it wasn't for that redundancy, maybe I wouldn't be here today, even talking to you about these stories. So
yeah, exactly. Right. Now, did you have some entrepreneurial environment you lived in, or did you never had inspirations to start for yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I think, and again, this is more like a psychology session. If I was lying in the bed just thinking back, where did this all come from? I think I can actually say it actually came from my father. My dad's never actually worked for anyone in his life and stuff. He's always been his own man, doing his own thing when he first came to this country. And so I think indirectly, and again, let's be honest, back in the day, he didn't call it an entrepreneurship or a side hustle. It was just work, find a job, make a living, pay for, whatever bills were coming in. And I think just watching him putting his tough bickies and stuff like that, I then realized, maybe it's in my DNA as well to do my own thing as well. So I think he would actually be the one I'd credit the most of. So yeah.
Nice. What do you think is the importance of having support from your spouse, from your family, from your friends, in order to succeed in business, in entrepreneurship?
I love it. There's a book I was writing as a legacy piece for my kids, and the first chapter is called "Find Your Fantastic Four." And what I mean was, I kind of grouped, and I said, before doing anything in life, not just business, but even anything in life, it's really important, Irwin, to have those support networks around you, those people that will guide you, help you, that you can lean on, that you can even share with different areas. There could be a business level, it could be a personal level, it could be a spiritual level, it could be just as a consulting level, a coaching level, whatever it is. I think it is so imperative. It's like you almost like read my book and kind of said, that's the thing. Like, it is so important to have people around you, because it is lonely running your own business if you're the only one at the top, you know.
Yeah.
It's a tough place to be, and there's no manual to say, hey, this is how you do it, this is what you should do. And how many times do we get caught in a pickle as well, where we're like, oh, who do I talk to? And so I definitely have loved ones who care about the personal side of me. I've got business people who know nothing about my personal life, but just pure business. They just look at the numbers side of things. There's a spiritual side as well. Another thing, Christian stuff. I have people out there who just look after that side of me and stuff. And then I also have the social side, people who don't care about what I believe or what I do, but hey, they're just here to have fun as well. So it's a bit of everyone, and I think it's really important. And I'm not even afraid to admit it. Sometimes I even check myself to even see someone at a counselor level to say, hey, mentally, am I doing okay? Like, am I cool? I'm glad to say I'm doing great and stuff. But just to have someone who has no idea about nothing to share
Yeah.
that perspective, I think is fantastic. So double thumbs up to that point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, so you were talking about your book. Are you still writing it, or is it
Yeah,
already
I
finished?
am writing it and stuff. Yeah, I am still writing it, but it's actually a very personal book with 9 chapters in it. It's a piece that I'm actually going to give to my both my daughters and stuff like that. As maybe I'm going to attach it to my will or something. You know, you've got to read this book before I pass on all my bits to you, sort of thing. Uh, but my heart was just to share something about what I've learned. As I've mentored a lot of people, I tend to always share the same things in the same order. Um, so yes, I'm still writing that book. I've also got another book coming out, which is a public one that I do want to launch out. So one's a private book, we'll call it, many sheets of A4 pieces of paper sort of thing. The other one is called Stop Losing Leads as well. So, and that is more to do with, like, say, conversion and what we've been talking about in terms
Yeah.
of, yeah,
Nice.
human psychology. So,
Nice. Um, I always say that, and the reason I'm coming to this question because I think this personal book will never be finished uh, to a certain degree. So it's mean because I
yes,
always say that I'm the eternal student, right? I have a growth mindset just like you. I love to learn
absolutely.
from other mentors, from entrepreneurs that are further down the road as I am, right? But also from my clients, from my kids, from my spouse, from my friends, from my family. I'm always learning. So, what are some things that you learned from your children?
Yeah, for sure. I actually have learned the whole idea, because I've been pushing them into this whole idea of trying new things, being okay to fail. I don't know about you, but when I grew up, failing was almost like like you're a good boy or you're a bad boy, or don't do that, or you know how it all works and stuff. And so one thing I think I've changed in my generation is the idea of failing. It's actually good to fail and stuff like that, as long as you don't get killed and stuff. But as long as you try at home together, we applaud effort. So I don't actually applaud good girl, bad girl sort of thing, because I have daughters. We applaud effort. Um, and something that Chris Do says in the future, he says, if you do something bad, he goes, congratulations, right? As opposed to, that's horrible. So say my daughter doesn't do well in the subject, I'll say, congratulations. At least you know what you need to put more effort into. So it's seen as a positive thing. So, and as I have taught them that, they've now tried to apply that, which then I've kind of indirectly gone, wait a minute, it's okay to fail in business, as long as I don't kill myself like in the same way and stuff. But hey, they always, and like the word fail stands for first attempt in learning. It's a first crack at something.
Yeah,
And one thing that my youngest daughter taught me, she was trying the monkey bars and she couldn't really get that first bar, right? That top bars, she was doing the monkey bars. She was getting really frustrated. And I said to her, and I said, well, what are you expecting? She could have expected that she could grab it and be like a monkey and like her friends. And I said, well, this is the first time you're doing this. You can't be hard on yourself. And the moment I kind of said that, I thought about myself. I went, wait a minute, I've got these high expectations on this SaaS business I'm running, or I have high expectations on this new product I've put out. It's got to work the first time. And I realized, hey, take it easy, Irwin. It's the first time. Have you given it your best shot? If you have, don't be hard on yourself. It's okay. Keep going. And it's kind of these kind of things I think they teach me indirectly. I don't think they kind of looked at me and go, Dad, remember those monkey bars, But I know that I'm saying that to myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's great to learn from anyone and everyone, and I don't think we can ever stop learning. So
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah. And it's indeed, it's about the effort, right? I
100%.
remember that 5 years ago I finished the training. A part of the training was to do a daily mind training. We did it for 2.5 years, right?
Yep.
And my mentor said you have to have a purpose to keep doing it, right? To persevere in this daily mind training. And I had my purpose was to become the best hypnotherapist of the world, right? It's very ambitious, I know. Will I ever
You gotta
be?
set high goals.
Yeah.
High goals are good.
I said, but will I ever be? Well, maybe, maybe not. I don't know, right? Will I be able to prove it? Probably not. Because once I start yelling that I'm the best hypnotherapist of the world, somebody will get up and say, what are you talking about? I'm already 40 years in the business. You're just in it for not even 10 years, right? So come back when you got some experience. But that's not the point, right? It's having this big, audacious goal it keeps me in this learning state, right? I'm enjoying the journey towards it, right? I don't need to to achieve that goal. It's the learning or the journey towards that goal that motivates me, right? That makes me grow, that
100%.
keeps me learning. And yeah, you're bound to make mistakes because you will do things for the first time. And it's a mission impossible to do everything you do for the first time to do it perfectly.
Yeah. And I think with practice, and as you keep refining and stuff like that, you just naturally get better. It's just that we always have to try to get through that first hurdle. It's usually the hardest. And once we push through, we actually surprise ourselves. So actually an exercise I do at that one is I usually videotape myself on the first time I do something, or even with my kids, with that monkey bars with my daughter, or her riding a bike and stuff like that. When she was falling over or really finding it, difficult, we jump on this kind of selfie kind of video, and I kind of interview her. Like, how does this make you feel at the moment? Oh, I'm feeling frustrated, or I can't do it. And I say, well, you say you can't do it. I think it's just that you can't do it yet. And so we actually record that moment. And then you only have to give it like 24, 48 hours or something really short. And next moment she's doing it. And I say, hey, do you remember this video that we took? You said you couldn't do it. Now you've done it. And because you keep seeing these videos of I can't do it, then she's done it. I can't do it. Now we've done it. Kind of. So every time she says I can't do it, I go, do you want me to pull out these videos? I think you know the answer. And I think just even thinking about myself, I go, yeah, actually, we just have to give it a good crack. And I agree with you. We might not be the best in the world. We might not be the Tiger Woods, of everything we do. So I wish I was Tiger Woods in golf, but clearly not. Injured my arm, sort of thing. But one thing that really changed my mindset, Irwin, was when someone said to me, Irwin, you might not be the best at it, but no one can ever deny that you are not the most passionate. If you really love what you do, they can't deny and say you're not passionate. Oh, I'm dead passionate. I want to be like, when it comes to websites that convert and techniques, I'm all in on that. Irwin might not be good at it. Irwin might be pretty bad at it. Might not even done it for a long time. But man, we can't deny that he loves it and he's passionate. That changed it for me because I was like, yeah, maybe against Bob. Bob's been doing 20 years more than me. Unless Bob kicks the bucket, I can't ever beat him numbers wise. It's never number one. Comparison is the biggest killer of contentment. And so number one, it's not Bob versus me. It's good on you, Bob. You do you, I do me. But my passion, my method is going to be different. And hey, we can celebrate your method, my method. there's enough websites to go around, sort of thing. So I think
Yeah.
that mindset shift has really helped me a lot. So yeah.
That's indeed a beautiful mindset shift, Irwin. I remember with myself that I saw some successful people, right? And my first thought was, I'll never be able to do that, right? They're just lucky, or they're great, they're talented. And at a certain moment, when you start having some success and you surround yourself with the right people, I changed my mindset. Well, if they can do it, why shouldn't I be able to achieve that, right? They're not that special. So I'm pretty sure I can do it as well. And that just that mindset, from can't do it to, well, just give it a go. And I'm pretty sure if I put in enough time and effort and thought into it, I'll be able to achieve the same results. That makes a big difference.
I think sometimes we have unreal expectation of ourselves. Like, if I don't do anything, I'm going to get better. No, the more you do it, you will get better. But we're just too scared, or we just like step 10. We just don't want steps 1 to 9 because it's too painful, or there's that pain barrier you have to just push through. And I remember seeing this meme of this guy with an axe. He's just digging, and he kind of just gives up that last minute. And in the picture, just that next slitter, if you
Oh,
had
yeah,
just a
yeah,
bit
yeah.
more time, the big diamond's there, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And he's
yeah.
going, oh, I can't do that. He kind of turns around with his pickaxe and stuff, and you're like, no, if you just kept on going. So I think whoever's listening, and even as a reminder to myself, if you are pushing through with something, keep going. Keep going hard and stuff like that. Do your absolute best. I'm not going to lie. There is a time when we should quit, when we go, okay, now I'm just digging into something that there's no hole. But as long as you set up some right measures to check ourselves, and we've given it a really good crack, as long as we've given it a real good go, I think sometimes we just quit too early, or we don't even start at all. So it's just getting through those mindset shifts. So,
Yeah. I always like I use this analogy a lot with my clients as well about the strongest man competition. Are you familiar with it?
No. Please.
Oh, well,
I'm fascinated.
there's a competition where strong men from different countries compete with each other to see who's the strongest.
Yeah,
And
wow.
one of those elements during the competition is they have to tow a lorry truck, right? And
Oh,
it's a
wow.
very heavy truck. And the
Mm.
amount of effort and strength and energy they put into it to get this lorry truck moving, it's immense, right? You can imagine
Wow.
that, right? Just
Yeah.
pulling this lorry truck. But the moment it starts rolling,
Yeah.
it costs less energy and effort to make it roll a little bit
Love
faster,
that
right?
analogy. Love it.
And at
Love
the
it.
end, they're almost running over the finish line with this lorry truck behind them, same lorry truck.
It's
So
and I love that. I can just picture right now that's
yeah,
that first momentum at the start, right?
exactly, right. To create
Mm.
something out of nothing, the amount of effort and energy is immense. But the moment there's something, it's far more easier to make something more out of it. It's just a matter of keeping momentum and keep pushing through it.
Yeah. That's a great image. I love that one. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually love this quote. You were talking about this gold digger, right? That stops at the wrong moment, so to speak. There's this quote that somebody shared with me, that a winner is just a loser who tried it one more time.
Say it one more time.
A winner is just a loser who tried it one more time.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Very
So
inspired. I'm feeling super inspired, my friend. Yeah, I love
yeah.
it.
So what would you consider to be your biggest business success, Irwin?
Oh, there's been a few actually and stuff, but I I actually think there's this whole idea of follow through. Actually, the fact that I've even built this whole software during COVID, to me is actually, I mean, I've had many different successes. It could be a finance one, it could be a certain client name. Unfortunately, due to NDAs, I can't really say and so forth. It could be actually my staff that I absolutely love and who've been with me for over a decade. But just one particular one, which is the most recent because I just got off a meeting, is even following through with an idea. What I mean by that is, how many ideas have you ever come up with? And you go, hey, it would be cool to do that. Or people go, hey, I've got this killer idea. We should do this. But it's just all talk. It's just an idea. That's all it will be. Just a dream. And when you turn a dream into a reality, or when you say something and you actually end up doing it and actually going through steps 1, 2, 3, and you actually push through that pain and stuff like that. And again, I'm not going through that finish line, and I don't see no lorry behind me yet at the moment, but I've definitely got that lorry moving. It's definitely moving. And I'm kind of like, wait a minute, this is kind of crazy and stuff like that. And getting my software up to where it is right now has already been an absolute dream. Even actually, in fact, my wife even said, Irwin, you've got many ideas, but this one you've taken the absolute furthest. You've run the longest with this one, and for that you've already succeeded. You've already succeeded because I think I've proven to myself that if I put in the time and the energy, I can do it, and I can push through. And I've done it for a long, consistent time frame. So, yeah.
Nice. And I think that's very beautiful that you share that, because a lot of people, when you talk about business success, especially people that are not entrepreneurs, they always think about to achieve a certain financial goal, right? Your first 100,000 income, or the first million, or whatever, and that is success for them, right? But just what you said, is having this idea and bringing that idea to life and put in the time and effort to make it a success.
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest achievements you can have as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, 100%. Success is what you define it to be.
Yeah.
Like, success is not, because I know some guys who have made some really big dollars, we're talking 7, 8, 9 figures and stuff, and they're actually no different whatsoever. And so for me, it's really about, you need to define what success means to you. So the success of my book for my kids is, sure, it's in A4 bits of paper, and there's a whole stack of them, but the fact that I can actually already pass it on, that's already success. I don't need to be the next J.K. Rowling with, top seller on Amazon or what. You just need to define what it is. And it really comes down to that word, contentment. Because success, I promise you, if you want $1 million and you get the million, you wish you had 2. And then you make 2, then you wish you had 5, and 5, 10, 10. When does it end? And I know some people who are actually really sad, actually, at the moment. Money's awesome, fantastic, and can alleviate a lot of financial stress. But if you're not happy with it and stuff, I know some people who don't make as much, but are definitely more successful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's why I love to do this podcast as well, right? It's called Follow Your Passion. It's not follow the money.
Yeah, that's so true as well. So true. So true.
Yeah. So, Irwin, if you could share a little tip or little piece of your wisdom. Well, you already shared a lot, right? But if there's just one piece that you could share with the audience, what would it be?
Yeah. I think and with all of this nature and stuff, I think for me, it's actually, and the one I'm learning the most right now is actually the word focus. I'm one of those types who are like, oh, butterfly, oh, shiny, and they kind of just get distracted left, right, and center. If you really want to be the master of whatever your lane is, you got to be brutal. You really got to cut those branches off that are in the way. But there's another great opportunity. Yeah, right place, right time. So what do you want to be known for? And to find that focus, you need to know what that goal is. So find that goal, stay absolutely focused, and go 200%. Don't just go 120, go 200% into it. Be well known for it, be world class at it. And then, hey, put a lot of passion behind it, and people can see that. And let your passion show, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because that itself, you can be the best in. You don't actually have to be the best in whatever the element is. But yeah, get the passion.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, it's actually that one of my coaches, he shared an acronym for focus. He says, finish one course until successful.
Yes.
And I love that as a reminder about focus, right?
100%. And that
It's
kind of really wraps up everything we've been talking about, really. So,
yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think it's also a great quote that I heard. It's from it's an Indian verb, I think, that he who chases two rabbits catches none.
Yes, always. Always. I've
Yeah.
tried that too. Not rabbits, but I've chased things that I'm like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Yeah.
we're all guilty of doing it, but yeah, let's all go back into
Yeah.
focus.
So, Irwin, if people want to connect with you or want to know more about your business, how can they do that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, if you want to connect with me personally, you can always jump onto LinkedIn and type in Irwin Hau. Irwin as in Steve Irwin, so IRWIN, Hau as in HAU. For my businesses, I own Chromatix, so CHROMATIX.com.au. That's our primary web design business. The new SaaS one coming up is ConversionCow, as in moo cow, .com, conversioncow.com. Milk your website or beef up your website for more leads. I also do have a few others in irwinhau.com, which is my own consulting business, as well as Neon Bright, which is our content writing as well. But yeah, any one of those methods, feel free to reach out, connect, and tell us that you heard about me because of Irwin himself. So that's
perfect. I would almost say you're all over the place in a good sense.
Yeah.
It's almost hard not to reach you, right?
Ordered chaos. And I'm here to have everything. So it's like a big web. You can't not be caught. So
yeah, exactly. Wonderful. Irwin, I want to thank you for being my guest. I had a great time. I know we could spend hours on those topics, but
absolutely,
we have to think about the listeners as well, the audience. So thanks again for being my guest, and definitely let's keep in touch.